When you are saying something about Islam, Muhammad, his wives, his companions, his family, then you have to face the serious consequences, both legally and socially. Defaming the Islamic Prophet Muhammad, punishable by death, life imprisonment. Anyone can file a blasphemy complaint. No proof or intent is required before the arrest. We cannot amend this law without de-radicalization. Nobody can touch this law. When you are accused, these Muslims are going to drag you, mob lynch you, they burnt your house, nothing will left there. Even they raped girls, Muslims raped girls if you are accused of the blasphemy.
Wow, that's one heck of an introduction. That,
Oh,
that now, the blasphemy law this is pretty much what it's about, I guess. So Christians cannot talk negatively about Muhammad, but are they allowed to talk negatively about Christ and about the Bible? How does that, is it both ways, or because the blasphemy, it just seems like I was reading about that case about Shahzad Masih. Is that his name? The young kid. He's 24 now. He
yeah,
was 16 when he was accused of insulting Islam.
he's
And
now 25.
is he 25 now? He's still in
Yeah,
prison for.
he was arrested July 16 or 17, 2017. So when he was arrested, he was 16. Now you can add how many years. I'm not sure. If I'm wrong, please correct me.
Something like that. It was very close to that. But I guess he is in the blasphemy. He got accused of blasphemy, and this is where a country or a state, Pakistan, goes and they arrest you just because somebody says that you're a Christian or that you said something about our prophet that we didn't like, and they can go and get you and torture you and do whatever they want to in prison. Um, and it carries the death penalty. Like you said, you were running for your life because of your faith. Um, so what I'd like to ask you is this going on for everybody? Like, what's it like to be just a regular Christian? Say you're not going to say anything bad about Muhammad. I don't want to say anything bad about because I don't want to get in trouble. But just being a regular Christian walking that line in Pakistan. What's that like? Is it fearful? Is what do they do?
It's very fearful,
Mhm.
and even Christians are breathing before taking a cool sigh.
Mhm.
They have to think about this, that we are not committing blasphemy against the Islamic Prophet Muhammad.
Mhm.
And the fear they are living, it's a huge mountain. Yes, the Pakistan's blasphemy law are uh, amongst the strictest in the world. And they, when you are saying something about Islam, Muhammad, his wives, his companions, his family, then you have to face the serious consequences, both legally and socially. And now let me explain you how these draconian blasphemy laws work in Pakistan. For your audience, they will better understand when I'm going to explain you the legal basis and the social structure of this draconian blasphemy law. So the blasphemy law in Pakistan are the part of Pakistan Penal Code, which is called PPC, and the section 295 to 298, originally inherited from the British colonial law, that time British Raj, and but later made much harsher under General Ziaul Haq and Islamization policies 1980s. So 295A, deliberate. Now I'm going to explain you some of its section, so you would understand how harsh or brutal these laws are. Deliberate and malicious act, uh, intended to outrage religious feelings of the Muslim. For this section 295A, punishable by up to 10 years in the prison. And the other section 295B, defiling the Quran, punishable by life imprisonment. And 295C, which is the most brutal and draconian, defaming the Islamic Prophet Muhammad, punishable by death, life imprisonment. In practice, death is the only accepted punishment in that atmosphere. And 298A to 298C, these are the offenses against the Muhammad's family, his companions, or use of any Islamic titles by any minority sectors, those who are considered non-Muslims. So these sections you would charge under these laws. So now, how these laws work in Pakistan? The question you were asking actually want to know. Anyone can file a blasphemy complaint, often to the police station directly. No proof or intent is required before the arrest. You are just going to police station, you are just brandishing your finger that this person defiles or blaspheme against the Muhammad without any solid evidence or witnesses. Police is going to register an FIR, and the accused can be detained for the long periods. Recently, we seen the Christian man. He was released after 23 years. After his release, he died. And because the accusation itself can, inflame public anger, Muslims, and the police courts often act, out of the fear and the mob violence rather than the evidence. When you are accused, these Muslims are going to drag you, mob lynch you, they burnt your house, nothing will left there. Even they raped girls, Muslims raped girls if you are accused of the blasphemy. The law is, often used to settle personal disputes, uh, property conflicts, or grudges. Even false accusation can lead to mob attacks and mob lynchings or destruction of Christian houses, Christian churches, that we already seen in many incidents. In 9th of March 2013, Joseph Clooney Christian neighborhood was totally destroyed and burned. We have seen 1997, Shantinagar was totally destroyed and burned by the uh, 35 to 35,000 Muslims that time, 1997. Then we seen in Gojra, 7 Christians were murdered without any evidence, any solid proof. Then we have seen Koreagaon was totally uh, destroyed and set on a fire. We have seen in Bhamniwala, Kasur, Punjab, Pakistan, our all Christian houses were burned down without any evidence. And the lawyers, judges, and politicians who defend or question, the law have been threatened, or they were assassinated.
Mm.
Notably, if you remember, Governor of Punjab, Salman Taseer, he supported just Christian woman Asiya Bibi 2011. He was murdered by his own, killed by in broad daylight, his own security guard who was appointed by the state to protect him. But he took his life. And Christians, we Christians are very vulnerable in Pakistan.
Mm.
Many accused never get a fair trial, and even if acquitted on these false blasphemy accusation, they must go into hiding or flee the country due to the fear or vigilante violence.
Mm.
So in in past, someone tried to call for the reform. They have been met with the fierce resistance from Islamist, terrorist group like Tehreek Labbaik Pakistan (TLP),
Mhm.
who threat the uh, you know law, this draconian law, as a sacred and untouchable. Any politician who speak about changing it, risk being labeled to the blasphemer themselves.
Right.
They are putting their own life in a danger. Uncountable terrorist organizations are working across the Pakistan, but making it clear that no government dare to amend or question um, about the blasphemy laws.
Mm.
And you questioned me about the Christians. Let me give you one example. In 5 of May 2024, Nazir Masih, a Christian man from Sargoda, Pakistan, um, uh, a city, Pakistan Air Force, where allegedly there is the Pakistan nuclear assets are there. And Nazir Masih was brutally lynched to death after being falsely accused of blasphemy by his neighbor, with whom he lived almost 74 years, that place.
He was killed right then and there.
And sorry?
He was killed right then and there.
Yes, he was killed there by mob, by the TLP terrorist. He was mob lynched. And the
Wow.
allegation against him were, entirely baseless, brother. And yet they were enough to incite the violence mob that attacked him without any investigation or the due process.
Wow.
Despite, you know, his innocence, Nazir Masih was beaten mercilessly, sir, and his home, his business were destroyed. And the police failed to intervene in the time, allowing the mob, these terrorists, to carry out this inhuman act. His,
Wow.
Nazir Masih death highlights how false blasphemy accusation are weaponized against us, against Christians,
Mhm.
leading to the deadly consequences for individuals who have no chance to defend themselves.
Mhm.
When I was talking to the Nazir Masih family, his whole family was in contact with me. I've already interviewed them at the some time in future. I will publish that. They informed me that police captured their father Nazir Masih from inside the house when the mob, whole radical Islamist mob, were outside. When the police came, police rescue him, police take him out, and police handed him over to these radical Islamist group, and they brutally, with the stakes, stones, bricks, they terribly torch him, and he died later.
Wow.
His family was taken under custody, and even his son was uh, co-accused in this blasphemy FIR. And interestingly, no one seen Nazir Masih was, burning the pages of the Quran. Let's take another example. Uh, August 16, 2023, the Jaranwala blasphemy incident, a similar tragedy, unfolded in that city, Jaranwala, where two Christian brothers, they were falsely accused of blasphemy the Quran. Early morning, 5:30, Muslim neighbor, Muslim woman, she early morning wake up, she came out from her house, and she claimed that she was walking through the street and she saw the pages of the Quran on the road, and the pictures of both brother were pasted on that, and derogatory remarks were written on the pages of the Quran. And that lady, she picked up those pages and directly knocked the door of that Christian family and said, you deliberately desecrated, blasphemed the Quran. And the accusation sparked large scale, mobs, riots, and people were announcing through the mosque speakers, and during which they were inciting the violence. Come, Christian, blaspheme the Quran, and you are still sitting in your houses and having breakfast. You should have died.
Wow.
Because Christians are still alive. It was about morning, around uh, about 7 o'clock in the morning, and the incident started when 5 in the morning, 5:30, and the police was active, and about 7:30, just within 2.5 hours, 7:30, the first attack was already occurred. And these radical Islamists, thousands of people come out from this terrorist organization, Tehreek Labbaik Pakistan. They started the first attack they did, it was about 7:30, while police was engaged with them, both parties, Christians and Muslims. Dozens of churches, more than 2 dozen churches were burned. Thousands of holy Bibles were burned down. Christian literature was burned down. Salvation Army library was burned down by Muslims. Christians' homes were looted, and family were forced to flee for their lives, for their children's life, to protect women were running for their lives to protect themselves from these Islamists who could rape them at that time. And the state failed to protect its citizen as law enforcement agencies stood by while carried out this mob. Radical Islamists carried out the destruction. And shockingly, sir, I have videos. I can show you the evidence, the proof that you can find over my Twitter, that some police officers were even seen walking alongside with these attackers, these Islamists, these jihadis, instead of stopping them.
Wow.
And the same pattern of the state inaction was repeated in Nazir Masih lynching, where instead of safeguarding an innocent Christian man who was about his last days of his age, the authorities allowed jihadis, these crazy Muslims, to take justice into their own hand. So these examples of both cases expose the deep failure of Pakistan's justice system and the urgent need for the reform to protect Christians and other religious minority from mob violence and uh,
If there was
uh,
new reforms made, if they had came in and changed these laws, how deep? Because this sounds like it's not even like maybe even about the laws anymore. Like, is it pinned so deep into the extreme Islam faith or the people there, like the Talik Labib? What is it? The TLP? Is the
Tehreek Labbaik.
Yes. Is the it embedded so much and have do they have so much authority that they are the law? Because this is like a civil war happening where it's just extreme Islam or nothing. You can't have another religion and feel safe in this. You know what I mean? Would
Yes,
would the
Wa-
changing of the law, would that, if it was even possible from what you're saying, it's almost impossible to change.
it is impossible to change the law. I give you the example of this. Why is not this possible to change or amend the law?
Hmm.
First, your question was about the Shahzad Masih.
Hmm.
So let me explain about the Shahzad situation that hit my mind in my mind. So
Yeah.
I don't want to skip his situation
Yeah.
on this wonderful opportunity. And then let me explain you. We cannot change the law.
Mm.
We cannot amend this law. First, we need this society to de-radicalization. Without de-radicalization, nobody can touch this law.